We'll start off with object-oriented programming concepts of OOPS. This is important, very important for learning Selenium. Right, so I'll show you with the example, with one example in Eclipse. Okay. Yesterday we had seen how to build a basic project, add the Selenium jars. But to work after adding the jars, you need to know object-oriented programming. So I've created this project day 2 and I'll create a new class. Let me simply name that class as, say, a very simple name like animal. Now, what are the properties of the animal class? Okay, animal has got a name. Okay, and say int weight of the animal. So there are a number of properties which I can add. So I'm just adding two properties over here. Okay, right. Or I'll add just one and I'll make a function. For example, public void move. Okay, public void eat. So this is the animal class. Okay, it's got name property, two functions. Right. Now suppose I make a new class known as test.java with the main function. Now when I make the main function, inside the main function what I will do is that I will do something known as creating object of animal class from test class. Okay, I'll create the object of animal class from the test class. Alright, how do you do that? You write over here new animal. If you do this, you create the object of the animal class in the memory. Okay, let me add weight property as well, just a minute. Okay, so you can create as many objects as you can. But what do you mean by creating object? What happens internally? Okay, internally, I'll tell you. Three objects of the animal class will be formed. Okay, in the memory. And every every object will be having name, weight, move, function, and eat function. Okay, every object will have these four things. These are the four properties of the animal class, right? Name, weight, move, eat. Okay, similarly in this as well, you will have all the four properties, and similarly in this object also. But to access these objects, there is no way to access these objects. Rather, to access these objects, you need to have something known as object reference in Java. Objects can be made in the memory, but they cannot be accessed. If you don't have an object reference, they cannot be accessed. So out here, you need to have object reference. For example, animal A1 is this. Animal A2 is this. Animal A3 is this. So A1, A2 and A3 are the references which point towards the object of the animal class. Okay. So in the memory, A1 will point towards the first object. A2 reference will point towards the second object, and A3 is for the third object. Now objects are constant in the memory. The references, they point towards the object. Okay. With this reference, you can change the state of the object. You can write over here A1 dot. You'll get the option name is say animal A. A1 dot weight is say 100. You'll get the options. A2 dot, if you put dot, you'll get the option name. Name is B. And A2 dot weight is 200. Similarly for A3 you can put up. Okay, so A1, A2, A3 are the objects of the animal class. A1 has got weight and name property. Okay, and A2 has got the weight and name. So these properties can be initialized for every object. Okay, over here this becomes A and 100. Pretty simple, right? But people don't know about this. 200, C and 300. Okay, now you can also call the functions. You can call say A1 dot move, A2 dot move, A3 dot move. Alright, and inside these functions, maybe you can write over here animal moving and the name of the animal. We'll print the name of the animal as well. Okay, so when you run this code, it prints animal moving A, B and C. So when A1 calls the move function, okay, when A1 calls the move function, it will print the name of A1. Similarly for A2 and A3, it will print the corresponding names in the objects. You are getting my point, right? Okay. So object is there in the memory, the reference points towards the object. I can also simply print A1 dot name, A2 dot name and A3 dot name. Now, if I go ahead and write A1 equals to A2, what will happen? This means that A1 will no longer point here. Okay, A1 will go to the same object to which A2 is pointing. So A1 and A2 will point towards the same object. So references can be moved from one object to another as well. So if I print now, A1 dot name, A2 dot name, A3 dot name, it will print BBC because A1 is pointing towards the same location where A2 is pointing. Any one of them can change the state of the object and it will be updated. For example, if I write A1 dot name is equal to Z. So what will happen in the memory is that the name of this object will no longer be B, it will be Z now. So when A2 will try to access the name, it will get Z. Okay, so if I print the same thing over here, it will present Z, Z and C. So you see that object references can move from one object to another, and object references can change the state of the object. Okay, right. I hope you got my point. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me. I'm sorry, my throat is not so good. I'm really sorry. Right. Now, in this animal class, suppose I have another variable known as int ice. Okay. So for all animals, suppose A1 has got 2 eyes. A2 will have 2 eyes. A3 will have 2 eyes. So every animal has got 2 eyes. The eyes property for every animal has the value 2. Okay. This doesn't make sense that I give eyes property with 2 value in every object, because I know that every animal will be having 2 eyes. The value is fixed for every animal. It is common for all the animals. So what we do is that we make this property static. If I make the eyes variable static, then it no longer becomes a part of the object. It will reside somewhere in the memory location over here. Okay, right, eyes, and it will be common for all the objects. All the objects can access it. It will be a common memory location for all the objects. Okay, so static variable is common for all the objects. You can access it directly by the name of the class. Static variable can be accessed like animal dot, and you will get the option I equals to 2. So for all the animal objects, it will be 2. And you will see a yellow warning over here that this is a static field. Don't access it with the object. You can access it, but you'll get a warning that it is not supposed to be accessed with the object. Okay, it is static in nature, so please access it with the class name. For accessing non-static variables, you have to access them with the objects, object references. You have to create objects and access non-static. Okay, static can directly be accessed with the class name. Are you getting my point?
Hello.
Yes.
Why we don't static with an object?
It is not preferred. Static variables are supposed to be accessed with the name of the class directly, because they are not part of the object. That is why it is discouraged. Although you can do it, you can write animal.eyes equals to 2, so all animals will have 2 eyes this way also. But it is not encouraged to access it with the object, because it is not the part of the object. It resides somewhere over here outside the object. So you access it with the name of the class. Okay. Now with just 1 minute, guys. Guys, just 1 minute. I need a glass of water. All right. So you cannot access static directly. Okay. You can access static directly. Non-static, you have to create the object of the class.
Yeah, just one out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so on the tables we have installed one more class, right? Class is well, also some inheritance, right?
I cannot understand. Can you be a little louder?
So on the tables A1, A2, and A3,
Yes.
hello. We are accessing the properties of one more class, right?
Yes.
This is the concept of inheritance, right? And
No, no, no. This is not inheritance. Inheritance is something else. Okay.
this concept is called
This is simple creation of object, basics of object-oriented programming. How to create the object, what is an object. Okay.
okay. But here we are inheriting the properties from one more class, right? It's not
No, it's not inheritance. Inheritance is something else. We have just created the object of animal class in some other class. We can do that. In Java, it is there. You can create
okay.
objects of other classes in some other classes. You can do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now, this is what the concept of static and non-static is. Okay. So out here, how do we implement these concepts in Selenium? Okay. Look, the thing is, if you go to the official website of Selenium, Selenium HQ, and you go to the download section, right, you will see Java doc link, the documentation of Selenium with Java. Okay. If you go here and scroll down, you will see something written over here as WebDriver. You click on this. Okay. Look, these are the different driver classes in Selenium. The structure or the architecture of Selenium starts from these driver classes. Each driver class represents a particular browser. For example, as the name suggests, Chrome driver will actually represent Chrome, Edge driver will represent Edge. So every driver class, it represents a particular browser. Remote WebDriver, it is used when we work with Selenium GRID. Okay, so you have to create objects of these classes to work with the browsers. For example, okay, I'll tell you, I'll create a new class known as basic drivers. Now suppose I have to work with Firefox. To work with Firefox and Selenium. Okay, I'm coming over to Selenium. I'll tell you how the creation of objects is used in Selenium. Okay, for Firefox, okay, go back, go to the main page, scroll down. You will see a third-party driver bindings and plugins. Okay, this is Mozilla Gecko driver. Alright, you click on this version 0.19, whatever it is, whatever the latest one is. Okay, and you download the file for your operating system. Okay, for your operating system, you download the file. Okay, in my OS, I have kept it over here. This is Gecko driver exe which you will get. Don't run this exe. You won't get anything by running this exe file. Okay, right. So what you need to do is that you need to write the line over here, system dot set property. System is an internal class and set property is a static function in that class. You can directly call it with the name of the class. Okay, alright. Then out here, just a minute, you can give the key as WebDriver dot Gecko dot driver. Okay, and in the value you can give the path of this exe. Look, this is a driver exe, you need it. Okay, in Java you have to give double slash, it's escape sequence, and you can write over here Gecko driver.exe. After that, if you create the object of Firefox driver, Firefox driver class is an inbuilt class. Okay, in Selenium, I'll go to the documentation again. If you go to the Java doc again, go to WebDriver, then these are the drivers. So Firefox, this is the driver, Firefox driver class is there. Okay, so you create the object for that, but before that, let me add the jar files of Selenium. It is mandatory to add the jar files of Selenium, all the jars under the lib folder and the main jar file. Okay, now you create the object of the class Firefox driver.
Ashish, one quick question.
Yes,
Is there a particular Firefox or is it exactly?
I'll pick up all the browsers one by one.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so you create the object of Firefox driver after keeping the Gecko driver exe in the system path. Make sure over here you give everything in lowercase. Sometimes people give W in capital over here and then they get issue. Okay, now if you run this, you will see that a blank Firefox opens up, right? Okay, right? Now if I close this, right, and if I give a reference to Firefox browser, just by creating the object of Firefox, okay, I'm able to open it. But to control the Firefox and to access the functions of the Firefox driver class, I'll have to create the object. And over here under F, you will see a lot of internal functions which we will be studying. Okay, for example, there is a function known as get. Get function, you give the URL, for example, http yahoo.com. This will take Firefox to the website yahoo.com. So if I run this, Firefox will open and it will be taken to yahoo.com. So in Selenium, everything is inbuilt. The commands are inbuilt, everything is inbuilt. You need to know Java, you need to know the concepts of object-oriented programming. Okay, right, you see that Yahoo opens. Now similarly for Chrome, I'll comment this. For Chrome, you have to work with the Chrome driver class. Okay, and hold on. From the Selenium website for Chrome also, you have to download the exe. Now there are some versioning issues over here. For Firefox, okay, what happens is that suppose right now the latest version of Firefox is say 58. I'm just assuming. And Selenium 3.9.1 is supporting this. What happens is that tomorrow the version becomes 59. Okay. And the Selenium 3.9.1 will not be supporting it. So always make sure that for Firefox you work one version or two versions back to be on the safer side, because the version of Firefox gets upgraded and you don't have the latest Firefox version, the Selenium version supporting it, and that is the thing. And also make sure you use the latest GeckoDriver.exe. Okay, this is very important for Firefox. You can download an older version of Firefox from Google. You can write for Firefox older versions, and you can go here and hold on. Go to this website ftp.mozilla.org. So over here you have all the versions of Firefox. Okay, you can download whichever you want. Right now the version is 59 and I don't think so 59 is supported by supported by Selenium. Out here if you look at my Firefox, then I am using 57. It is supported. Okay, so always work one or two versions back. You can download anything. You can download 58 and you can download it for Windows 32-bit and for ENUS, right, and download the exe. Right. Now, if you don't have that, if you have the latest Firefox, Selenium is not supporting it, you'll get an error. This code will not run. Okay. Now, as far as Chrome is concerned, for Chrome, you have to download the Chrome driver. Alright, 2.33. Right, download it for your operating system. For Windows, you can download 32-bit. This will also work on 64-bit Windows machine. Okay, I have kept it over here. Okay, there's a question being asked that and Aman, I'll come over to these implicit weights and all later on. I will talk about that code later on. I'm not talking about that code right now, what you have printed. Okay. Now, this is Chrome drivers.exe. Okay. Right. So, what I will do is that I will write over here system.setProperty WebDriver.Chrome.driver and give the path of Chrome driver exe like I gave the path of Gecko driver exe. I will give the path of Chrome driver.exe. Okay, and I will create the object of Chrome driver. Okay, and if you run this code, you will see that a blank Chrome will open up. Okay, right. If you want to take it to some website, you can write chrome.get and http yahoo.com. So this will take Chrome to Yahoo. For Chrome, make sure that you are using the latest Chrome driver.exe. Okay, Google guys, they update Chrome, they update Chrome driver.exe, and you will not face any versioning issues in Chrome. Okay, right, fine. Now for other browsers, like you have got IE. Now officially support for IE has been removed by Microsoft. There will be no new version of IE, but still there are companies and places and banks and all where IE is used. Okay, nobody uses it actually. Alright. So for IE, if you want to automate IE, then for IE you need to download this exe. If you have got 32-bit IE or 64-bit IE, depending on that, you need to download the exe file. And for IE, once you download this exe, for example, in my machine, I have it over here, iDriverServer.exe. Okay. So again, for IE, you have to give the system property, that is system.setProperty WebDriver.i.driver, and give the value. Okay, give the value of the path to exe, which is iDriver server.exe. Okay, and you create the object of Internet Explorer driver class. Look, in Selenium it's quite easy. You just write INTER. Okay, hit Control Spacebar in Eclipse. You will get the names of all the classes starting from here. Okay, so if you write Internet Explorer, it will keep on filtering it, and you will get Internet Explorer driver over here. Okay, I equals to new Internet Explorer driver, and you can write I dot get. Okay, you can write http yahoo.com, and if you run it, my PC, you will see that I will open and it will take you to Yahoo, but in your case you might get errors or something. I'm sorry. In case of IE, you have to be sure about few things. First of all, in IE, make sure that the zoom level is set to 100%. Please make sure. Okay. In IE, you have to make sure that zoom is 100%. Secondly, you have to turn off the protected mode in IE. You go to Internet Options, Tools Options, and go to Security, and these are the 4 zones. Okay, right. You disable, if I write enable, you disable the protected mode, and in some of your PCs you will have a leveler over here. Make sure that the leveler is scrolled to the bottom location. Okay, right. And over here in advanced settings, there is a setting, hold on. Yeah, under security there is a setting, allow active content to run in files on my computer. Okay, just select that setting. Okay, make sure it is ticked. Okay, so this is how I should be configured. Okay, and then it will start working. Alright, now these days Edge browser has come up. Okay, Edge browser is also supported. Alright, this is my Edge browser. Hold on. It's for Windows 10. Alright, so to work with Edge with Selenium, you have to download this Microsoft Edge driver. It will take you to the Microsoft website if you click on that link. Okay. Now there are different downloads available over here. Okay. You have to download the exe, the release, as per your Edge version. You have to be careful about this. Go to your Edge. Go to the settings in Edge. Okay. And my Edge is 16.16299. Okay. Hold on just a minute. Yeah, this is my Edge version. It's upgraded. Yesterday it was not this. So you have to download the release for this particular version. Okay. Make sure you download the right one. Alright, for the right version. I'll download and keep it over here. Okay. And for Edge, again you have to write this line WebDriver.edge.driver and give the path of this exe file. And for Edge, you have got Edge. If you write Edge and hit Control Spacebar, you will get the Edge driver option. Okay. Right. Fine. If I run this code, see, hold on. See, Edge opens up. Now for Edge, there is also one thing that when you run the script, make sure Edge is closed. I'll tell you the reason. If I write edgedriver.get http yahoo.com. Okay, if I run this code, Edge will open and it will take you to yahoo.com. Okay, Yahoo website will load. Fine. If I run this again, you will get an error. So for Edge, you have to, you'll get an exception. You have to make sure that Edge is closed. For other browsers, it is not mandatory, but for Edge, make sure that Edge is closed and make sure you download a right version of exe. Alright. So these are the different drivers. For every driver, you have an exe and you have to write this particular line. Okay. Now instead of doing that, there is no need of writing this line. What you can do is that you can keep all the driver exe files in a particular folder. Okay. And give this folder path in environment variables. Okay. You don't have to write this line again and again. Okay. For example, on my PC, I have done few settings that I don't have to write this line. Even if without writing this line, if I write Firefox driver and if I go to yahoo.com and if I run this code, Firefox will work on my PC, not in your PC. Okay, right, you see that Firefox opens and it goes to yahoo.com. Right, so you can also do the setting that you can omit writing this line for every driver. For that, keep all the driver exes on the same folder like I have done. Go to my computer properties. Okay, and go to advanced system settings. Alright, and go to environment variables over here. Out here there will be various environment variables. There will be environment variable known as system variable, basically known as path. Okay, hold on. Click on edit on this path variable. Alright. And scroll down. I have given the path, you have to give the path. You create a new folder and give the path of the drive, the folder where you have kept all the exe files. Okay, right. So this is how you can do it. And then you will have to restart your PC or something. Okay, you'll have to restart your machine. Okay, right. Now, once you do this, after you restart your machine, Eclipse and all everything, you don't have to write this line. Okay. In case of Windows 8 or Windows 7, okay, you go to advanced system variables, you go to environment variables, you will see the path variable, you will see a window like this, rectangular window. You go to the end of this text, put a semicolon and give the path of the drivers folder in case of Windows 7 or Windows 8. Okay, right. So this is how you work. I'm sorry guys. This is how you work with different drivers. Alright, and by creating the object of every driver class, you can actually work with them. There is something known as Safari driver and Opera driver as well. Those are not stable. Things don't work properly in them. Okay, fine. So we'll be studying all these driver classes. Alright. Now, will I have to learn all the functions in Firefox driver separately because every driver class is separate? Okay, will I have to learn all these functions in Firefox driver separately, then in Chrome driver, then in iDriver? It is not like that. When I explain you the concept of interfaces tomorrow, I'll tell you. Okay, if you have to click on a link, will I have to write a separate code for Firefox and Chrome? Okay, it's not like that. A single piece of code works. Okay, with the concept of interfaces in Java, I'll explain you. Okay, now one thing guys, I want to tell you about constructors. Okay, suppose this was our animal class. This animal class had two properties, name and weight. Okay, suppose this class had 10 such properties. I'm explaining you concept of constructors. Name, weight, height. Okay, then what will you do? Guys, now out here, what if there are 10 such properties? And in test.java, you are creating the object of the animal class and you are initializing all the 10 properties over here. Okay. So how will you do that? If you are creating 5 objects and for 5 objects you are initializing 10 properties, you are actually writing 50 lines of code just to create the object. Over here I had 3 objects. Okay. For A1 I will initialize 10, for A2 10, for A3 10. So this creates a problem. So over here the concept of constructors, they come into the picture. Okay. Right. So how do constructors play the role over here? Constructor, what it does is that it will help you to create and initialize object at same time. Okay, I'll talk about constructors.